So recently I've been watching this anime on Netflix called Sakamoto Days, in which it's normalized to have assassins running around and taking contracts to knock people off. In one of the more recent episodes, a terrorist group attacks the main assassin headquarters and tries to kill everyone in there in order to bring about reform. Their plan is quickly ruined though because a random ass old man pulls up. A random old man? Yes, a random old man that can do this. What the f? Why is a random old guy able to do this? For the sake of me not wanting to disrespect him in case he comes to slice me up, we're just gonna call him Grandpa Joe. Now, Grandpa Joe has shown up before, but we've never really been given any context as to who he is or where he comes from or even what his name is. But as with any good anime, he's a random old ass nigga that can cut buildings in half with one swing and just possesses insane amounts of strength. Honestly, watching this got me thinking, this is something we've seen before. I realized this is actually another trope that a lot of animes do and came to a shocking conclusion. This shit is fire! I don't know what it is about old ass niggas completely breaking the power scale, but it's a trope that always manages to get the blood pumping whenever it's featured in a show, and depending on the anime, can get a good laugh out of me because of its sheer absurdity. I was so moved by this epiphany that I got my lazy ass up and started writing this video in which we'll discuss the funniest anime trope, overpowered old people.
That bitch like, how the hell y'all doing? How y'all feeling today? Ready to turn myself in down at the station. I made a killing today. Always gonna be money. Always gonna be hoes. Always.
This trope is honestly so nice whenever it does appear in a show, for the simple fact that you know when it does show up, they finna get down. It's so funny because everyone around them just automatically shows a certain level of respect, and the people that don't either immediately get smashed on or ignored. The people that have been around long enough just know not to test the gangster of someone that's 80 plus and still has more muscles than half the cast. I remember when I first started watching anime, I was so surprised every time they showed someone that was stronger than the MC, and would always think, oh, how the f do you beat this? But then as you watch more shows, you realize the way they get around this is by introducing a villain that's stronger than them to really show the power scale difference. It actually makes you fear for the characters' lives once you realize one of the strongest and oldest in the verse is getting banged up by a dude that just got on the scene. The OP old people trope is one of my favorites though, purely because of how nonsensical it is. You don't expect one of the oldest, raggediest characters on the show to outclass everyone else with little to no effort. I will say it's a really common trope in most animes because if you really sit there and think about it, you can probably think of one of these characters from damn near any show. Without further ado, let's discuss some of the most broken gramps and grannies from anime that fill this trope to the T. First up on the list, and since he was the inspiration for this video, I want to discuss Takamura from Sakamoto Days. I know I previously mentioned I didn't know his name, but after a bit of research and watching the show some more, I finally figured it out. Now we don't know too much about Takamura from what they've shown us so far, but from what we have seen, nigga. This geezer is someone that's able to put fear into the hearts of the Order, which in case you forgot is a group of assassins that knows no limits to their power or intelligence. They had an entire arc where a bunch of serial killers got released, only for the Order to put them down in like 2 episodes and make them seem like child's play. Now let's go to the scene where they're all riding in an RV together and everyone already knows not to disturb Takamura. Why? Because when he's woken up by a fly, he does this. Now, I'm no genius, but as strong as the Order is, I think this attack would have killed them. On top of this, the only other instance where we get to see him really destroy his strength is when he's fighting Gaku. Let's not forget that Gaku up until this point has been displayed as a killing machine who's seemingly unstoppable and puts everyone he meets down with ease. But when Takamura pulled up on him in this hallway, I had to sit up because I didn't know what was about to happen. Takamura slices through the building, cuts off Gaku's fingers, breaks his weapon, and sent this dude Gaku on the run. He had one of the strongest characters running for safety. And to make matters worse, once he tracked him down, he cut his arm off too. When I first saw this go down, I was like, ooh, because every time Takamura struck, it felt like it was cataclysmic. I don't know how much more is in store for his feats and what he's gonna pull off, but he's by far one of my favorite characters in this show without a doubt, purely off his strength and mystery alone. The next OP boomer I want to speak on is Genkai from Yu Yu Hakusho. It's been a little bit since I watched the show, but from what I remember, Genkai was always just her. Even when Yusuke is first introduced to her, not much is revealed regarding her character besides the fact that she's a badass and has immense amounts of spirit power. Her banter with Yusuke throughout the show was hilarious and sometimes sad when the gravity of what she was saying really set in, but nonetheless she was a great teacher and actually really cared. However, just because she cared doesn't mean she was even close to being a pushover. During any one of her fights, it might have seemed like she was about to lose, when in fact it wasn't even close. Now, yes, some of them might have been a little ass pulley. What? But if you really consider it, Genkai had respect from Toguro, and you know Toguro doesn't respect anyone who's weak. And I mean, this is the same granny who showed Yusuke this when he was trying to learn how to properly use his spirit gun.
It's time that you understood it too.
was like, huh? Boy, let someone get on her bad side for real, and it's raps. Even though she lost a lot of her true power when she gave Yusuke her spirit wave, or I still believe she would be a problem for any base level person that tried to test her gangster. And yes, I'm including Hiei and Kurama in that. This next pull is kind of from left field, but I think he's pretty deserving of a spot simply for the fact that he's ready to box at all times. Of course, we're talking about Silver Fang from One Punch Man. He's one of the top 3 S-class heroes, which in this verse means he's pretty damn strong. Unfortunately, since the show is based around Saitama, we don't get to see him box nearly as much as we should. But besides the fact this dude is like 80 years old with an 8-pack, we do get to see him bang out with Garou during the end of season 2. Now we know that season 2 took the route of 7 deadly frames, but even still, this was one of the more satisfying fights and moments. When Bang finally got his hands on Garou, he gave him a straight 20-piece combo and had him spinning in the air like a hot dog. Keep in mind, this is the same Garou who just made light work of 8 A-class heroes. Besides this fight, we don't see much of Bang in action, but he's well respected in the verse and is one of the few people to acknowledge Saitama's strength and accept it, which is significant because you know it takes a dog to know a dog, you feel me? I'm already knowing y'all are gonna get on my head for this, but I can't talk about overpowered old people and not discuss Zeno Zoldyck from Hunter x Hunter. Zeno was one of the strongest OGs in Hunter. We don't get to see him bang out that much, but the fights that we do get to witness are lit as a. In his first fight with Chrollo and Silva, we get to experience how truly fast and perceptive he is. Not only does he figure out what Chrollo's abilities are in record time, he's able to move fast enough to really put some damage on it. And let's not forget, he can summon a dragon! It's wild because everyone in the Zoldyck family is kind of broken in their own way, but as the trope goes, the OGs are always the ones that really do this. During that fight, even Chrollo was like,
Grandpa's kind of fighting right now, hold up.
His next big show of strength, combat-wise, was when he was helping Netero in his raid against the ants in the Chimera Ant arc. His dragon dive technique not only destroyed the entire castle in a matter of seconds, but he was able to disrupt the entire balance and order established by the ants in under 10 minutes. I say it all the time, but everyone in this verse is fairly strong in their own ways, as they all have particular uses of Nen that suits them, but Zeno is in his own class because he's very masterful of both his Nen and assassin techniques, and you know when he starts boxing it's going to cause some serious problem. Now the final and last OP old person I want to discuss is none other than King Bradley, aka Wrath himself from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. King Bradley wasn't terribly old, but he's referred to as Old Man and Geezer enough times for me to give him a legitimate spot. Full Metal is kind of old, but in case you need a refresher, Wrath was a dog on the battlefield. During his fights with Greed in the sewers, he gave him the meanest combo I've ever seen and was just straight up dancing around him with his dual swords. Greed was talking shit like usual, went from cocky to double swords to the neck in seconds. And let's not forget when Bradley stormed the castle by himself and took out a multitude of soldiers in a tank alone. This nigga was a problem on the scene, and it's been a while since I've seen the show, so I had to rewatch some scenes back. But do you remember when he was fighting Fu and Greed after carving through all those soldiers? So not only did he beat the brakes off Fu with little to no effort, but once he was pieced up, Fu saw where the fight was headed and tried to sacrifice himself to save Greed, and guess what happened?
I'm taking you straight to hell with me, Bradley! You bastard!
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the f?
Oh my god. Nah, bro. This was so disrespectful for no reason. Like, he deadass had Fu monologuing like,
damn, so my sacrifice is pointless too. What the f did I just do that for?
Now, granted, Bradley did have an OP ass eye that could just see everything, but he was still one of the hardest fighters on the show. And hey, I mean, this video is about overpowered old people, so I think he fits the bill. As controversial as they might sometimes be, I think having an old person that breaks the scale of power in the show is a necessity for any renowned anime. It's a trope that's both hilarious and fitting when done properly. I can't mention how many times I've seen some grandpa come on the scene and just make me bust out laughing by how much they make the side characters and MC seem like chumps in comparison. I know in real life they said older people are the wisest and most respected, but anime loves to blow that out of proportion, and I love it for doing that. I really could have made this list like 2 hours long, but out of my mental sanity, I decided to refrain from doing that. I am very aware, however, that there are significant boomers I didn't mention that you guys will be on my ass about in the comments. Unfortunately, I can't name everyone, but I'm going to give honorable mentions to Yuro Kodaki from Demon Slayer, Master Roshi from Dragon Ball, Whitebeard from One Piece, Boomy from Avatar, and Charles V. Britannia from Code Geass. Some of these I chose not to speak on simply because I haven't seen the shows, and I don't want to do them a disservice by speaking on people I'm unfamiliar with. And yes, I'm talking about Master Roshi from Dragon Ball. I know he's really popular. I haven't seen Dragon Ball. I know. Who did I miss though? Be sure to drop a comment down below and let me know your favorite grandpa or grandma from an anime that is just insanely broken for no reason. That's all I got for today, but I want to let you guys know I appreciate you for watching this video, and I love each and every one of you. Peace, y'all.
She want control or delete. You I tea in a sheet, I'm like, dude, like me. She like, oh yeah, of course, why she all on my steak, but she do not dry. She want me to show feet.